Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear. Get it out. Sort it out mid-podcast. All right, guys. Welcome to the Massenomics Podcast, episode something or other. It's got to be 60. I think it's 60.
58.
No.
But who's counting, right?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Do I have to go through this whole thing to prove you wrong?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, last week was 57. Fuck.
Yeah.
I really thought last week was 59. So
This is almost a half a year then. 57 weeks.
yeah, with your math, it's been about 3 months. One episode a week. This week we don't have a whole lot of new big groundbreaking things. It was a pretty down week in the world of strength and fitness and such. But we thought we'd recap, hopefully, some stories we hadn't told you.
Or we could just let Tyler ramble on in whatever fashion he does for an hour.
Yeah, I'll stumble through
Just see where he gets to.
I think we want to start with the Arnold front stage story.
All right.
So we have, and actually, I want to make sure that we got a review from Becky. Do you remember that one a few weeks back? I'm trying to remember. It was listed as like Ruby on the thing, right? And I mentioned that she must be our only female listener that's not our moms.
Yeah, not true.
But we have one other female listener.
I actually found out that my aunt who lives in the cities listens to this too.
We
she
have
mentioned
two
that
other
today, which
female
blew me
listeners.
away.
But your aunt does not have connections
No.
like this female listener. We don't want to give probably her any other specifics away because I don't know if she was supposed to do this.
Yeah.
But so we were at the Arnold. This was day 2.
This was day 2.
Day 1 we had gone through and Tommy was just like walking around with his magic media badge with the photographer shit and just like getting right next to everything, and it was awesome.
Yeah, just popping in, doing my thing.
Yeah, so, but for the strongman competition, this was, what events were going on this day?
I believe it was what do they call it? Do they call it weight over bar at the strongman, or do they call it like, I don't know.
So that bag.
Yeah,
They're throwing sandbags over the bar.
The sandbags.
The deadlift would have been the other one.
Yeah, but we were late.
missed
We were
that.
late for that.
So it was really just the bag then. Because
I thought there
There
was
was
one other
something
one
else.
I saw that day, but maybe not.
That wasn't the frame carry?
No, the first day
frame
is
carry was the first day.
Frame and yoke.
Well, either way, there was some strongman events.
Whatever, there was some shit going on.
Yeah, so we had already had, being it was day 2, we had seen quite a bit of powerlifting, some other random things, and then we decided it was time to head back over to the strongman stage and see what action was taking place there. And since the day before, I had gone right up, just kind of walked in and started taking photos front and center. I just assumed that was cool now. And
It was like that scene on Wayne's World when they got their backstage pass. They're just like, we're good to go.
And that's pretty much how I treated it. I walked right through everyone, right up to the front. People were kind of giving me looks like, hey, man, like, we've been here a while. And I just blew right by, like, this is my job. Felt very confident. Mm-hmm. And I got to the front row. There was kind of a few people in the way, so I had to hold up for a second. And then this lady that looked like she was pretty official, stopped me, and she goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm just going to go right over here and take some photos. She says, no, you're not. I did it yesterday, so I'm just going to go right back to the corner over there. She's like, you don't have the pass for that. I'm like, no, I got a media badge right here. She's like, that's not the badge for this spot. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, really? And then I kind of just, was like, I was bummed out because I was really excited to go take pictures again. And she's like, yeah.
All of us are also watching because Tommy is the only one that has like media pit passes. So we're all like
50 feet away.
like a bunch of with our busted ass media passes. We're just allowed to be in the building, and we're watching Tommy like, oh, that son of a bitch is gonna get right up there again, and then all of a sudden he's just stopped, and we're like, fuck, what's happening?
Yeah. And so I'm kind of explaining the story. Like, I was here yesterday. I don't see what the big deal is. And then she goes, well, here's the deal. I'm a big fan of the podcast. I'm like, she definitely has me confused with someone else because no one says that
like,
ever.
What podcast?
People I know don't say that. So people I don't know definitely aren't saying that. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, the Massenomics Podcast. I love it. I follow Tyler on Instagram because that's like to follow Tyler on Instagram is just a terrible thing to do,
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm like, really? And, just kind of surprised by this whole thing because we're not used to that. And especially traveling halfway across the country to hear someone say that. So I kind of start asking the questions of how she found out about it. And I think what it was she just said she kind of went on iTunes and typed in like powerlifting or fitness podcasts and just randomly stumbled across us. And at first I almost didn't believe her, but then she started like bringing up things from the podcast. Like she knew about the lift shirts. She knew that we always made jokes that Brad Gillingham was a close personal friend of the show. And so then I at that point I knew she had at least listened to several episodes and knew what was going on. So she cleared out a spot in the corner for me, let me sit right where I was the day before. I got my photographer action going, and it turned into a pretty decent afternoon session in the strongman.
You got like half Thor sweat on you, and like he ripped his shirt off in front of you.
And I was just the whole time I was like, I can't wait to tell these guys these stories.
You texted us too, I think, didn't you?
I think I did.
She let me in that she likes the podcast,
when I remember seeing the text, but it was like because self-service is diggity dog shit.
It doesn't work
in there. So like I got the thing after it was over, and like I didn't believe it. I was like, oh, fuck Tommy, whatever.
Yeah.
Like he got in and he was like, yeah, she hears the podcast. But so when we all met up after the crowd cleared up, Tommy told us the story, and basically the rest of us were like, no. So what really happened? Because we don't go anywhere and have anybody tell us that they know what that
big
is.
Fans.
Yeah. I mean, we're hardly fans of the podcast.
We hardly know what's going on these episodes.
So that was awesome. So hopefully you're listening. I think we know you do. And so anyway, if you could get Tommy on the stage next year, would that be even better?
I'll just be right up there.
Like the only photographer that had a better access than you at that spot was the guy from Rogue
That was on
who was
the
like
stage.
allowed to be in the way.
Oh yeah,
like
he was
I don't
right
even
in there.
understand. Like if you're a photographer, I would think that your job would be like, I'm gonna get the shots, but I'm gonna try to not like fuck up the flow. This guy's like, remember when like Brian Shaw was sizing up the Atlas stone?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he was just
This guy's just like, yeah, hold on a minute, Brian.
You mean he's like the 45 minutes when Brian Shaw was
can you do
signing
that
up
again right there?
He's just like standing between Brian and the stone, like yeah, you'll get your time, Brian.
Yeah.
And then like
it kind of reinforces the fact that I think that thing really is just one big advertisement for Rogue. That's what it is.
Basically,
Yeah. Way it goes.
And they do a good job.
They do.
putting out videos
I
of
couldn't
that.
imagine like
their
any other
videos
company.
are fucking sweet. And actually watching the events,
It's not near as cool as
all
our
of those.
videos.
All of those things are cool to see, but
Yeah.
like if you watch, remember the what was their powerlifting? Was it just the stuff out their powerlifting stage, like a highlight reel, sort of?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
some of that.
Like a montage.
And it was insane.
Yeah.
The type of shit that makes just like all the blood flow to your genitals, and you get just jacked up. You know, like.
Yeah.
Like I remember, because remember that video that Rogue posted on the powerlifting stage, or what was it, the Rogue Strength stage or something they called it?
Yeah, whatever.
That posted right as we were getting on the plane. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we were all
like
watching,
somebody
like,
got
whoa.
it, and we shared it all amongst each other, and it was right as we were about to take off. Like everybody must have got it on enough, because I think everybody got to see it before the plane took off. We're
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah.
But Rogue, I would say Rogue's coverage is probably the only people whose coverage was better than ours.
And that's debatable.
It is.
I mean,
It
it
is.
depends on what you're into.
Yeah, that's true.
Ours had
Rogue
so
did-
much more of an
Rogue
organic.
didn't interview Gino.
Yeah.
No, if you're into better things, ours is probably better.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, if you like things that just
Thing
are
is-
more expensive,
That just seem
then-
more off the cuff and real. Like we take it right there. But it is the point where Rogue is almost like a media company that makes exercise equipment. Like it's starting to get there.
Yeah. I don't even
And I don't mean that as a negative in any way.
No. They put out like 50-minute long videos sometimes too, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
It's a
movie.
It's kind of a weird thing too to like. I would think for them to pitch.
Well, like even that talking about movie, that Braemar, didn't they do that with the Braemar
that's what I'm
stones? It was
thinking
like,
of.
like
It's an
50
hour
minutes.
long almost of,
Yeah.
and it's good. Really, you know, it's
Yeah, I guess I don't follow like Nike and Adidas and Reebok super close, but I don't see them putting out like hour-long movies on their channel.
I just try to like, I get the content marketing side of things where you're like, all right, so we're a company, we make a thing. Let's just make some cool content, put our brand on it, and we'll put it out there, and it'll draw people to our other stuff. I get that.
I mean,
But, like,
Massenomics has been doing it wildly successful for years now.
We
It's-
make dozens of dollars a week. But what I don't get is for them to just be like, we now make movies.
yeah.
Like that's a huge step. Like if you're a fucking heating and air conditioning company, you're like, we're gonna pay a production company and photographers and editors and directors, all this shit, and we're gonna go to fucking Scotland, and we're gonna film on the goddamn countryside for 3 months.
Yeah.
And like interview people. You know what I mean? Like how much does that cost?
I mean, they have to be calculating in some type of return on this, though. Like, I can't imagine it's just a total loss for them. They got to get something out of it.
Rogue could probably absorb some losses.
Yeah,
though.
you're right.
Like if I'm them, I'm just let's just do something because I think it's cool, and in general, it probably fits the whole thing.
Have you watched their video where it's kind of about their employees and their company? That's pretty interesting too. Like there's people there that started working, quite a few people that started working there at the very beginning that still work there.
So how long ago was the very beginning? Because to me, Rogue didn't exist until
4 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it was about 10 years or so, give or take. But of course they're going to pitch it this way in their video, but it really looked like it's that kind of place to work that people actually like
Just go
get up
in
and love to go to work, you know, where you've seen those videos before.
To go
where it's
throw
like,
a barbell on the lathe and they're
right,
just like a labor of love.
they get treated so well that they just love going to work every day. I mean, of course they're going to interview the people at the company that.
There's not going to be like some crusty old fucker. Who,
Another Monday.
Fucking.
One more day closer to Friday.
Yeah, that's
just counting down the minutes till they're dead and it's all over. Finally, I did it.
kind of hoping my manager Steve has a fucking stroke again this year.
Everyone
takes 6 months off from his crusty ass.
Everyone in this place is stupid but me, and all their decisions are terrible, and they keep changing things.
Why would anything ever have to change?
There's people like that at
Oh
every.
my god!
Oh yeah, and it's
I get that. I have that all the time. Like we've got like a new sort of simple little software system at work, and I had a guy the other day who I work with who was like, I just don't understand why it had to change. Why did we even have to change it? The old one worked just fine. And I'm like, well, like I'm sure we didn't like throw hundreds and hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars to go from one thing to another just for like its own fucking sake. So like, deal with it. I don't fucking know.
yeah.
But yeah, people get very, very resistant to change. People at the Arnold were also resistant to change. It's like, remember the crusty old, speaking of crusty old fucking guys.
Yeah,
Remember
crustiest.
we were watching,
Was it the XPC deadlift challenge?
Yeah, it was the deadlift. It was
Is
the
that
deadlift.
what was up
yeah.
there?
Yep.
okay. And so we migrated through, was this after, who had we interviewed? Was that post-interview or were we just bouncing around?
We
just
were
kinda all
bouncing
over
around.
the
It was.
place.
I'm pretty sure it was right before we interviewed like Matt Vincent and
Casey
Yeah,
Mitchell.
Yeah, Casey
I
Mitchell.
think so.
friends of the podcast. Matt Vincent,
Big
Casey
fans
Mitchell.
too. But so we had a big posse. There was 6 or 7 of us, something
Yeah.
like that. Or no.
And on
8
top
of
of
us.
that, we were taller than most people there.
And I would say certainly better looking than
Yeah.
80% of the people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man
So-
or woman.
So we migrated into this spot, and we didn't just shove in front of people that were like we moved off to the side of the stage,
Complete side.
complete side of the stage. Like there's no seating, no chairs set out
Oh, we
in
were a
this
good
area.
30 feet behind the nearest chair.
And I would say that we all could have put our arms out and held brooms in each hand
and not touched
another person.
And we were also
like,
so far back that you couldn't really even see standing up.
No, like we were just there, kind of, and we basically just kind of fell into that space.
We found
that was a
open
space where we were out of the way, wide open.
It was almost as much out of the way as you could get.
And open space at the Arnold is like a fucking hot commodity.
Unicorn,
We had it. That's where we just fell into it. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what was going on, but all of a sudden, Tanner was just like getting hot with some fucking dude behind us. This dude behind us is yelling, and
which I didn't know there was even people behind us.
No, I literally had no idea.
I thought there was no way a person could be behind us.
Right, and if they were behind us, they weren't watching this thing that was 100 feet in front of, that was that far away from us.
Because they could certainly have been way closer.
Yeah, right.
And so then Tanner, this is where I just kind of hear Tanner like making a comment at a guy, and it was like in a tone I don't usually hear. And I'm like, what just happened there, Tanner?
I usually wouldn't get upset at a stranger. Like, it would take a lot for me to get any bit of upset at a stranger, or for me to even say anything. Like, normally I would just prefer to not be involved in any sort of confrontation, because it's probably not worth it. But
a waste of time.
This guy's attitude was like
just
a 10.
the worst.
And he goes,
and this guy is sitting behind us, just chilling
in one chair,
20 feet, about 10, 15 feet behind us.
There is one chair
that he like went and stole this chair from somewhere so he could sit there.
That chair shouldn't be there.
And
a chair in a wide open empty space.
And I don't think he was specifically talking to me, but I certainly heard him. He was talking to our group collectively, and he said, I don't know if he said you guys or why don't you guys.
But this was the first thing that he said. This is the first thing he went to.
Yeah, he's like, you guys need to get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, with a lot of emphasis on fuck.
Yeah.
Like.
And also this was me, Tanner, Tommy, Big Ross,
Shane.
Austin, Big Shane, and my wife.
Yeah.
And like, so other than my wife, a lot of
Sean's.
And Sean.
Yeah.
Sean's isn't, he may be Arnold small, but isn't like real world small.
No.
And like, and this guy, I mean, I don't believe that my wife would have trouble kicking his ass. Like, he was old and frail. Like
when he said that, it immediately gave me that feeling where like you can feel blood rush to your face, where you're just like I was just, it made me really mad. Just like, that's just so insulting, or just such. To not, and so the argument was
so that Tanner perfectly diffusing the situation.
Yeah. I said, I turned to him and I said, like, that's not how you ask, or like, I think I just said, don't say it like that.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you guys are in the way. You need to get the fuck out of here. You know, he said the F word one more time, and I said, you don't talk to people like that. Yeah. And then he said, he's like, well, I've been sitting here for 20 minutes, and you guys walked right in front of me. And I said, I don't care. Like, that's not how you ask someone to move. Like, you can just ask us nicely to move, and we would have gladly moved.
I mean, but we also may not have, because that's also kind of an unreasonable thing to expect.
Right.
Like, well, I sat amidst this, like, behind 35 feet of empty space for 20 minutes, and if anybody were to fill this empty space, fuck them.
And we did this back and forth, I think 4 times, where, you know, he said something and I said, we were just each saying the same thing over again in just a little bit different words. And this was from 15 feet away, you know, so we're kind of speaking loudly.
Just yelling at each other.
And the last thing he said, like, I think he felt like I was being reasonable at some time.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I guess he's right. And he says, well, I'm sorry. Like, I guess I'm sorry.
And then we did just fucking left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were just like, let's get out of here.
And then we talked about it, and it's like, the moral of it is like, isn't it a lot of work to go through life just that pissed off about everything?
Yeah.
Like that just takes so much energy all the time to be that negative.
Like,
sure.
Like that takes a very concentrated effort to go through life like that.
That's like, you have to try to be that much of a dick. Like, you really have to, like, that's got to be the thing that you're going to do. Like, all right, so this thing, I'm sitting here, whatever my expectations are totally reasonable in my mind. And these people walked in, and how am I going to handle this? All right. I'm going to go with, hey, you guys, get the fuck out of the way. Yeah. Like, that'll diffuse it and make for a nice, smooth transition to them being the fuck out of my way.
Yeah. Like, that's
like
the
nothing. There's
way.
no way. Like you couldn't even talk to, like, and I think we're pretty, like, we can handle some rough edges, you know, more than probably most people if you've listened to this podcast for a while. But, like, my father's a fairly conservative Christian man, and you certainly couldn't tell him to get the fuck out of the way without him, like, being like, the fuck did you just say to me? You know what I mean? Like, you just can't do that to literally anybody.
No.
And, like, but that was the thing. He was like, all right, so this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to handle this situation. Like that's way harder than being like, hey, you guys mind moving? I've been here, you know. Like,
and then we probably would have
and I probably would have been like, I guess. Like, but
do
like,
you want to go ahead and just move
why don't
closer?
you just move in front? Like, just move in front of us. You're sitting down. Like, or go sit where the chairs are that are way closer. If you bring your own chair, I'm sure they'll let you sit there.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But anyway,
I steamed about that for about like
it was
10
like
minutes
15
following
minutes
that.
where
I just like, you know, when you get, if you're really fired up about something, it just takes you a while to
get over it.
Yeah.
And it's also not somebody who's at like a physical or age equal.
Right.
Like if it was somebody who was like 35 years old, he'd be like, maybe I should put my hands on him. You know what I mean? Or just like give him a little let him know I'm around, like with a hand on his chest. Just let him know I can move him a little bit. And like, but you can't do that because the guy was like 70.
Right.
You know. But speaking of old, we're segueing pretty hard. We all have basically learned that we are extremely cheap. More than anything else.
If you listen to the show for a while, you've probably got hints that Tyler takes personal hygiene very not seriously.
I mean, that's the expensive
say
money.
quote.
What is it? I'm cheaper than I am clean.
Yeah.
And, compared to a lot of people, the three of us have probably been called frugal, maybe even cheap in our lives.
Tanner mostly.
I was gonna say I definitely.
I got a snap from Tanner about his energy bill this last month.
The last 2 months each averaged under $80 a month. And what I said on the Snapchat was what I told Mary. I was like, not bad, but we can do better.
And, like, mind you, like the average temperature for the last month has been like what, maybe 40?
Yeah, 30 to 40. Yeah.
like definitely like temperatures that warrant heaters being ran and those type of things. But I thought kind of an interesting thing to talk about would be how we maybe finance our food, eating habits, gym habits, those type of things, because I think a lot of people hear things like, oh, you just need to eat more and you need to eat healthy, and the first thing is like, well, I can go to McDonald's and it's $3 and I can't make that at home that cheap, and it takes me all this time. And as far as like planning out meals, like it just, people seem to think they can't budget the time or the money for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty doable if you put a little effort to it. And I've never really talked to you guys much about this, so maybe you guys have some tips and tricks. And I'm by no means the expert, but I think a lot of people could learn something.
I would say that for certain, Tanner is the cheapest.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't even. I would say that. I would definitely say that.
I'm mindful of it because I am required to be for my marriage to work. If I had,
and you guys both have a marriage and kids, so you probably have to be.
Like there's some things that just have to happen, and like, but yeah, Tanner has it in him. I have it just in my marriage. Mm-hmm. So like I have to be somewhat mindful of it, but I spend money on really stupid shit also. But like
what would you consider really stupid?
Well, I guess I wouldn't say really stupid, but like, I own 2 pairs of Olympic lifting shoes.
You've talked about wanting to buy a slam ball basketball court before, so I guess your judgment has been.
Yes.
You've proven your judgment.
And I didn't just like think about it. Like it was in my PayPal thing when it was for sale on eBay that it was going to happen. But so Tanner, yours comes from a place of logic, and mine comes from a place of fear. So
fear and restraint.
So I would like you to explain maybe a few of the tips. Like, let's just say food-wise first.
Yeah.
Do you know offhand roughly how much you spend a month on food?
We would say family-wide,
Yeah.
it would be the only thing I could judge by, I guess. And I think a pretty close guess would be $400.
That's pretty
month?
solid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Because
Yeah.
I spend way more than that on myself.
Yeah, I think not more than 500 on average. Maybe I undercut a little bit, but 500.
So
might
are you
be.
pretty consistent with that every
Yeah,
month?
it works out pretty solid at that. Basically, the way we grocery shop, we don't do like go once a month and buy like 5. I see some people shop like that. They go like once every 3 weeks and have
yeah.
like 2 shopping carts
Oh, God,
plumb full of stuff.
The planning to do that
No,
just
yeah,
makes my head hurt.
We basically we grocery shop once a week, and then maybe a couple times in between, like very small.
you ran
items.
out of ketchup during the week,
right.
things like that.
But
yeah.
basically, we grocery shop every weekend.
And that's what we do. I do once, like a Saturday or a
And
Sunday.
we spend $100 to $130, $100 to $150 per weekend.
And I'm consistently, I would say, between 130 and 160 bucks a week.
Yeah, and but I guess if I added in, we don't eat out very much.
Yeah.
But it is a couple there's a couple meals here and there a week.
Yeah.
So it's probably $50 more a week.
Yeah.
So that's
We eat
another
out-
couple $100.
Yeah,
so.
and I eat out one meal a week.
Yeah.
I do that, and it actually usually will coincide with my grocery shopping.
Yeah,
So
I'm
that's
usually,
another couple $100 a month. You probably.
Which a guy could probably weed out
Yeah.
if
But hey, you
Qdoba
gotta have
wasn't
some fun
so
in life, right?
delicious.
right.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is I'm usually pretty close, anywhere from like 60 to 80 bucks a week on my big haul that I do on the weekend, and it's that same thing. You run out of 1 or 2 things during the week, you need to pick a
Yeah.
few things up. But for me, being more, not having a kid and still, kind of having a little bit of a nightlife, the thing that gets me is like the eating out in the weekends, like that.
Right.
The-
Like going to the bar and
The bar,
spending $70 on a supper and like
well, and that's what-
5.
That's the deal.
It just
if you can
adds
go
up
to the
so
bar,
fast.
if you can go to the bar and just drink,
Yeah.
like you're doing a lot better. Like if I go to the fucking bar and I get dinner and drinks, because I'll have like 3 drinks that basically don't count towards
your goal for the night.
towards my goal for the night, because like that's before I eat,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just eat them while I'll be drinking them while I'm ordering food and waiting on. So those 3 drinks are going in. I mean, there's $10 or whatever, and then I'll order food, which might be $15 to $20 for me, and then I'll drink afterwards, which then I have to drink off the food, which then becomes like another 40. Like it is like $70 for me.
And if your wife is with you,
Then it's
double it.
$90.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
Right.
she can't drink much,
But the
she
meal-
can sure fucking eat.
Yeah.
And then I'll eat half her food.
We've talked about that before.
Which then also means that I have to drink more to get over that hump.
Yeah.
It's really tough being me.
So did you say a dollar amount of what you think yours is?
About 80.
So yeah, on like groceries, I'm
Yeah.
pretty close to $80 a week on groceries. But the big variable for me is what's going on socially, as
Yeah.
far as bar.
If you have
out
5
with
of those
friends.
nights in a month, that's
Oh, and it adds up in a hurry.
Yeah,
It's someone's birthday this week, and it's just like there's always little things like that. But that's the big variable for me, and that can
Oh, to be young.
vary a lot. Right
I'm
there.
like, oh, it's so and so's birthday. Time to not answer my phone tonight.
well, but usually it's like, I know they're not going to want to do anything anyway. So
Yeah, so that's the one that really adds up for me a lot. But kind of the other part of this now is, kind of the budgeting and planning for the food. How do you guys do that on Saturdays or whatever day it is you guys go grocery shopping? Do you have like a meal kind of plan for the week, or how do you figure it out?
What I do is I go in with a general idea, because I eat kind of the same stuff. I mean, things migrate from one type of thing, but in general, it's basically the same thing from week to week.
yeah.
So I'll go in and I'll be like, well, I'm going to get a meat, and I'm not going to be certain until I'm there, because like if I'm there Saturday morning, it's very likely that there's going to be a lot of shit that's going to be marked down in the meat department. So if you're there in the morning, that's a pro tip there. You want to save some money. Get to like your Walmart or whatever at like 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 or 8, and like everything will be marked. You can save $6 on a fucking $12 package of chicken, depending on the day. But it's about to turn. But so that's what I'll do is I'll go there and I'll be like, well, there's pork. that's on sale, so I'm just going to get that.
So that's how you like to play it, is
Yeah,
really see
and
where the
so,
deals
so
are.
I always bargain shop for my protein. So my protein for the week will be,
And that's where a lot of the expenses. I mean,
For
that's
sure.
a huge chunk of the expenses in the protein.
and then we usually actually will buy about twice a year. I'll buy like a full quarter cow that'll be fully processed. I'll have it in the deep freeze. So I'll have like
And
beef.
This is what I've always wondered: do people outside of the Midwest know that that's a thing that you can do, or is that even,
I don't
or is
even
that a lot
know.
harder to do outside of the Midwest?
I guess it's probably.
And for
harder
people
to
that don't
do.
know what we're talking about, it's like you basically find farmer rancher in the area and just buy beef. I mean,
Lots of it.
yeah, buy a quarter of a cow.
4 of us, yeah. So my family, we'll get in there. Might be 8 of us that'll throw in, and we'll get 2 cows.
Yeah.
And you get some pretty.
And I think when it's all said and done, I pay like $3 a pound all the way across the board.
that's your steaks to your
But that
hamburger
includes
to
Hamburger. And
Ground
then put
beef,
everything
hamburger, or ground beef, steaks, roasts, everything. So like, whereas like $3 a pound, if it was just ground beef, maybe it's not an exceptional bargain. The fact that
but
you're
that's
getting
pretty standard, though.
yeah,
That's not
and the
unusual.
fact that you're getting, I might get 15 or 20 ribeye steaks in the middle.
Yeah, oh
of
yeah,
that,
you could have
that, like,
well over 20 pounds of
yeah.
steak in there.
What happens every time I get them though is I eat all the steaks and
then
like
have the ground
I
beef.
think
in,
that
like,
would be my
in-
problem, is
in,
that I'm
like-
like, well, I have beef and I could eat beef for every meal, that I think I would just keep going to that.
yeah. But I'll end up with I'll eat the steaks right away. So in like literally 2 weeks, I'll eat all the steaks. And then I'm like, well, at least I've got enough ground beef. And I'll power through the ground beef. And then actually about 6 months later, he'll have some beef that he'll have get processed, the farmer we deal with. And we can buy just ground beef at even a cheaper rate. And so I might go get another like 200 or 300 pounds of just ground beef to fill the deep freeze. And but I'm out of it. I mean, so I probably consume, 500 or 600 pounds of cow meat.
And that probably is, if we're going to be talking about some money saving tips, that might be the biggest one.
Oh, for sure.
Is if you can get contact with someone where you can go in on a head of beef. I don't know if there's a better discount on the money than anything than doing that.
Plus, as long as you can store it,
and that's the big one. It takes space.
A $200 deep freeze.
Yeah.
And then that's the
And
biggest.
so the other thing that I do then is I'll sort of plan ahead for those types of things too. So our local grocery stores will have the big pork loins that look like big old whale penis.
The old
loins,
pork sword.
And they'll have those things on sale for like maybe every 6 weeks. They'll go on sale for like $1.89 a pound. So you can get like a 15-pound pork loin for like $12.
Do you go home, section that thing up, or do you?
No, all I do, I just get whatever I can kind of afford. So that's what'll throw off my weekly budget, because I'm like, fuck it, we got to load up this week, honey. It is what it is. And so I'll get like 6 of those, and I'll throw them in the freezer. And then as weeks go on, like I'll basically only buy my protein that's on sale. So I'll be like, well, I'll pull out a pork loin, and then we'll get some chicken breasts, or I'll pull out some beef.
So if there's nothing on sale, that's when you resort kind of to the freezer.
I still try to do like 2 types of protein throughout the week if I have my druthers about, so I can like have a little bit of variety. But sometimes it's a lot easier to just be like, fuck it, cooking all chicken. I don't have to think about it. But but that's usually what I'll do. And if there's nothing on sale and I know I've got stuff in the freezer, I'll go to that immediately. But then what I'm buying is I'll buy rice.
Because rice you can get insanely cheap in big quantities, right?
I buy like 20-pound bags of rice, and then I buy the big bags of frozen vegetables.
And what's a 20-pound bag of rice?
$13 or something like that. And like, and if you cook it up, I mean, that amounts to probably 80 pounds of rice, if it's actually cooked. I don't know how many cups are in there, but it's a shit ton.
Yeah.
But then I'll buy, for vegetables, I'll just buy like a big bag of spinach and a big frozen bag of like mixed vegetables. And egg whites, turkey bacon, regular eggs, and milk, and that's all I got to buy. I got to do some shit to accommodate the kid: bread, peanut butter, jelly,
Some of that good
sausage
stuff.
for breakfast,
Yeah.
and that type of stuff. But But that's pretty much how I do it. Is I buy my meat when it's on sale, buy my carbs in bulk, and get frozen vegetables, and everything else just fills in the cracks.
And that manages to feed a family somewhat affordably. even.
Feeds a family. I keep getting huger.
And we kind of have we don't have a luxury that a lot of people do, where in some bigger areas people have Costco where they can get some pretty deep discounts on things with
if we had a Costco, shit would be out of control for me.
I've only been in one once, but it was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
Tanner, do you buy heads of beef?
Yeah, we do the same thing. Basically, everything Tyler said is really similar to what we. I mean, it is just exactly what we do. But
do you know, before we get too far into yours?
Yeah.
Shane also buys heads of beef, doesn't he?
I think he does too.
Shane would probably be the person to have on this show about this. He probably knows every cost cutting technique.
For as far as being cheap goes, talking about me, he has me done outdone.
I think it took
he would
Shane,
be my role model
Shane
as far as that,
two full years to talk himself into buying a pair of lifting shoes.
Oh, he wears the same shoes to the gym that he's worn for 20 years. Not an exaggeration.
Yeah, he's also the only person I've seen that's managed to wear out an Inzer lifting belt. They talk about how you can't wear those things out, but I think he's actually done it.
No. Yeah, he grocery shopping, he buys on sales, and he goes to all the grocery stores to buy the things at each one that's cheaper.
So then
I do a little of that too, like our smaller store, which I like better. I'll usually go there for whatever they have on sale. Usually it's a meat that I'll get on sale, and then move on to the big store after that.
We do the beef thing, and then this year my parents also got a pig. So we got some of that. So
that makes sense. I've never heard of that, but that makes sense.
That's actually my brother did that, and then my dad did, and now after hearing both of their experiences, it's a fucking must because it is.
So why is that?
The prices were.
It's got to be
super cheap.
It's got to be $dollars a pound, maybe.
I don't know.
It amounts to very little, but you're also getting bacon. And you can basically just get super thick sliced bacon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They'll pack
that's the one thing. There's a huge difference between cheap bacon and good bacon. Yeah. Whereas 80-20 hamburger tends to be 80-20 hamburger.
Yeah, the stuff I get with the ground beef that I get from our guy is probably 95% lean. When I cook it, it's not uncommon for me to brown 3 pounds of it at a time, and not have to drain it, or have there be some fat in there to where I'm keeping this in here.
Calories.
You know what I mean? I gotta have it. Mm-hmm. But no, the pig thing, they were getting breakfast sausage or bratwursts and fucking shit like that too.
It's always good. It's just this is good.
Well, also because I guess you're taking it on faith, but it is one animal. You know what I mean? There's that thing, and they're just doing the deal with it. So you're not kind of getting this whole batch of
odds and ends of
this
whatever
whole batch of pig's tails getting ground up and turned into your breakfast sausage. They only got one tail to deal with. Mm-hmm. That'll be in this package.
All 4 hooves are here and accounted for. So,
but yeah, so no, the pig thing is something I want to do this year too.
Yeah, that would be my one addition is what we did, and I think we'll continue to do that.
I think a whole pig processed and everything might have cost my brother $210.
That's what I was going to say, $200 and some dollars.
And for
me to get a quarter of beef, which amounts to just a shit ton of meat, is maybe $600, $650.
Yeah. So there's some upfront costs, but the savings play out.
And I power pretty hard into it once I get it to where we chip away at it pretty quickly, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, for sure. But that's our grocery shopping. I'm lucky enough that my wife does a majority of it, but it's the exact same thing where I have the certain things that I just am always eating. Mm-hmm. So, we say, which of those do I need more of?
Yeah.
And then she gets them, so cottage cheese, milk, eggs,
oatmeal,
fruit, oatmeal, those are always on the spinach. Those are always the things on the list. Yeah. So basically she knows just always get 5 more tubs of cottage cheese, and get 10 cartons of eggs, or just, and that's as far as the saving money, that's a big part of it is just your food choices.
Yes.
I eat a lot of cottage cheese, oats, eggs,
and even with
ground beef.
Even within things like oats, there's a huge difference in price between the flavored oats that are microwave ready,
No,
and
yeah.
the bulk container.
Right.
I mean, we're talking probably really a quarter of the price or less even.
Right. So like those foods.
Same
that
thing
are-
with rice though, with like the
rice too.
the pouches that are made in a minute.
Yeah.
Versus 10 of those probably cost the same as about your
Easily,
bag of.
Right,
easily.
for
Yeah,
sure.
you can get
And one is a week's supply of rice, and the other one is probably
a month at least. Yeah.
or for the average person.
Or for the average person,
4 or
6
5
months.
months.
Yeah.
So if you sacrifice maybe a little bit of convenience with some of that
Yeah.
stuff, but when you're talking large quantities, and
Is what
if
it
you're
is.
really worried about the price,
Well,
that's-
for me too though, like if I was getting fucking rice-a-roni or something like that, like a flavored rice.
do you want to eat that much of that?
Well,
flavor,
how
or-
many
yeah.
how many fucking packages do I want to open
Yeah.
to cook? You know what I mean? To cook it at one time, like I would get so tired of tear open a box,
You'd have a
tear open
garbage
the thing,
bag,
do the
yeah.
thing, throw it away. You know what I mean? And it's a lot easier for me. What I do is I save my old jumbo protein tubs, and when I buy 20-pound bags of rice, because I never like fully out because I use so much of it. So I'll have 2 of these.
Oh,
that are
to
just,
take on the flavor of the protein powder.
I have 2 big tubs, and I just fill them full of the rice, and I just have written on the side 2 cups water, 1 cup of rice, and so that's
Do you
all.
ever
it
get
is.
afraid you might forget that?
I do. I always go back to it, but that's way easier. Like I just take every time that I make a batch. It's 12 cups of water and 6 cups of rice, and we're good to go.
It's a lot of rice.
It amounts to a lot, yeah. But it's that's the way to do it. Speaking of protein, have you guys been buying protein powder lately? I mean, I try to eat most of mine, but out of convenience, I still make sure I have some.
I'll say, and this is like the first time, actually close to the last year, just out of pure cheapness, my supplement bill has been like $0. Like I haven't had protein, I haven't had creatine for a while. I bought some like cheap BCAAs because I was like, oh, this is some flavored water while I'm working out, and then those ran out, and I quit buying those too. So I'm probably the worst person to ask currently about supplements, being that my monthly supplement bill is $0.
I always go at just about as cheap as humanly possible on supplements. And protein, I always have protein powder around because
It's
I just
nice to
always
have.
do.
Yeah.
And I have it every morning because I have some in my oatmeal. Mm-hmm. Other than that, like some days I might not have any,
Yeah.
and some days I might be like kind of hungry. Like I'm gonna make a really big shake in the blender and put a couple scoops. So.
or days if you're missing a midday
Yeah,
meal.
right,
It's
right.
easier to
And
just do
I guess
that
I
than
shouldn't
cook
say I
something.
haven't had any protein because I have been mooching off of Leah because she had some, so I'm not completely like free of it. But yeah, my bill has been $0.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tyler, I think you had. I was actually asking you about it a little earlier. You had a pretty jumbo-sized bag up there.
Yeah, I buy the 10-pound, or it might even be 11-pound. I think it's like 5 kilos or something like that bag from. I still stick with the Muscle Farm brand protein just because I like it. It's a good price if you buy a ton of it. And I don't know. I've heard of other things. I haven't done it yet, but basically the reputable services that I like are bodybuilding.com. Mm-hmm. Now there's a whole bunch of shit on there, but like you're going to get the best prices you're going to get for sure. Mm-hmm. And like I would avoid walking into a store to buy.
Well, that's the thing that I know when I was buying protein, I would always just go to Amazon because I have Amazon Prime, no tax, ships for free in 2 days, and just the tax alone can make a pretty big difference on some of these things when you look at purchasing it over the course of a year. But yeah, it's just versus a store. It's tough to beat the. So what are your goals? And then someone give you like the whole sales pitch on like someone that's not even qualified to give you that pitch. Like just not having to deal with them.
My goals are for you
Fortunately-
not to talk to me.
Yeah,
and
to get in and out of here as quick as possible.
In our town, at our supplement store, it's a lady now, and that position turns over all the time. But it's
Yeah.
like a 58-year-old woman,
Yeah.
who definitely doesn't lift.
no.
Yeah.
But no. So bodybuilding.com is pretty legit as far as like look around. You problem is you can spend a lot of money on things you don't need there too. But like if you know what you want, check there first, because I even did some comparing side by side with Amazon, and it was actually really, really, really comparable. And
Well, bodybuilding.com, their main competition is Amazon. I don't think it, like over the last 5 years, they've taken over the market.
Everything,
So
yeah.
that their competitor is Amazon. Outside of that, I
And-
don't think they have any real.
And I will say
competitors.
this: everything I've ordered from bodybuilding.com shows up basically the next day.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
well, it's like it's 2 days.
But yeah,
it's
it's
FedEx,
fast,
but
though.
it's like
It's not like that. Wait 7 days.
It's
and
so it's unreasonably fast.
Yeah.
And this actually isn't a commercial for them. There's another one on Amazon that is what is it? That bulk supplements.
Yeah.
And I've heard about that place. That
So is this the brand or is this like a store
I
selling?
think
it?
it's
Brand.
both.
Yeah, I bought fish oil capsules last time. I bought those from that
Yeah.
bulk supplements. You
And
know,
is it because they actually only sell in bulk or?
No, they actually sell in really small quantities too.
Okay.
But I think where you get your money, the thing that they do is it's kind of no nonsense. So it's just the thing you're going to buy. Like I don't even think they have flavored proteins.
Oh,
Like
wow.
you buy whey protein, and your best bet is to buy like 50-pound bags of it. You know, and like obviously you can get a 10-pound bag, but your savings is less. But it's unflavored.
Yeah.
If you touch that camera, dog, I'm gonna kick your ass. Fletch, move. Get out of here. Quit smelling the tripod.
Just giving you the look.
He's just looking at me like I'm dumb. Get out of here.
Just so sad.
All right, whatever. We're gonna pretend like that never happened. So is he.
So like yeah, as far as protein goes, that is a big one. If you find something that you know you're okay with for a long time, the 10-pound route is an easy way to save money.
I always go 10
I think I've heard
pounds.
rumors of like again the Costco thing. I think 10-pound bags at Costco you can get for as low as like $70 or something like
Yeah.
that. So just another luxury.
The
but-
mythical Costco that
The
we've never
mythic,
been
yeah.
able to be in. But other things too. But when you talk about unflavored things like at bulk supplements, creatine would be a thing I would certainly buy from them because it's a one ingredient thing. If you're going to take creatine, you're probably going to take it forever, so you might as well buy like a forever amount of it. You know, you spend a little more up front, but you save the money in the long run.
Yeah.
I've never tried. Have you ever tried unflavored whey protein?
No, I actually didn't know that was a thing until you were just saying that.
Now, one of the things that I've heard as far as to flavor it without adding a bunch of calories and nonsense is just like cocoa powder,
Makes sense.
which is
yeah.
it'll make it kind of chocolatey.
I can just see
but
the
not
mix.
a bunch of sugar.
I can see the mixed quality of it being a little
Yeah,
off,
I'm sure there's something to be said, but I can't. I suppose I can't write a review on it having not tried it. But that's kind of the way to go. Buy a lot at a time.
yeah.
And
I think the company is True Nutrition. I might have to double check that, but Professor Shans has talked to me about it before. I know he used to order from there or has before, but when you buy their protein, you literally pick everything. Like you pick the exact kind of protein, like whether you want
Oh, like whey,
hydrolyzed,
yeah.
isolate,
really?
isolate, like it's exactly, or you can mix and pick your percentages. So you pick that exactly, and then at that point it's still unflavored. Like you could buy it that way, but then you pick not just your flavor, but the way that it's going to be sweetened. Like you can pick your artificial sweetener,
wow.
like whether you
okay.
want stevia in it and like how much, like they
Really?
give you recommendations for everything, but like you go through and like literally customize
build
it.
your protein.
Yeah, to exactly what you want.
is it pricey?
It's more expensive than what we do.
Yeah.
Like I think it's probably not it was expensive to me compared
Yeah.
to like I go cheap as possible most of the time, but
Yeah.
I did try it a couple times.
Huh.
But yeah, you pick everything. Like you
What
pick
if you're
which
too
sweetener.
stupid? Like that would be a thing for I'd be like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know what
Yeah.
I should
Right.
have. That's why I pay money for other people to make
Yeah,
it.
that's what I would just be like, I need someone to make this
I think
decision
it's
for me.
more for like Professor Shans, where he wants
He
to be
knows
like,
what he
well, I
wants.
want hydrolyzed.
Yeah, unsweetened.
Yeah,
magic protein.
So, any other price saving hacks? Any life hacks for?
I on purchasing equipment and like
Oh, yeah.
wraps and stuff like that. What my tried and true method, just to make sure you're not buying something you don't really want bad, you go to the site and put it in your cart and think about buying it, and do that. I would say 4 to 5 times over the next week or two, and then like. If you do it like the 6th time, you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure I want this, and then you buy it. Like you never buy it the first time you put it in your
Also,
cart.
I just try Tanner's stuff first
Yeah,
and make sure that it's cool. Yeah, I actually did that with my gangster raps that I got from Mark Bell. I was like, I'm gonna wrap up with Tanner just to see if they're like,
Well,
fuck
it
I'll
is
pay for
nice
'em.
being in a place where a lot of people have a lot of different stuff because you get to
It's
get
a
to
lot.
bounce off what
you
you
don't
like
have
better.
as much surprises. There's
Right.
that chance of buyer's remorse is much lower when we're in a gym
Yeah.
like ours, where you can almost try out everyone's stuff.
And you can also be like, hey, you have those. What do you think? I fucking hate them.
Yeah, they
And
fell
then-
apart after a week.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. So that's also a perk of going to a legit gym is that you have resources and people. That
And I
you
think
can
as far as like
bounce
other equipment stuff, obviously, Craigslist for equipment. If you're looking to buy,
like
shit,
buy actual equipment, Craigslist for sure.
you know, we're in a place where it's actually harder for us. If you're in a real place that has real amounts of people, it's probably a lot easier.
Yeah.
But when it comes to training, typically a 45-pound plate is a 45-pound plate.
Right.
You're getting the same. It benches the same. It squats the same. As long as you don't get those nasty octagon plates, they should deadlift the same.
Yeah, what is the deal with? I've never ever been in a place that had those. I've only
I've never
them
seen
on
them in
Instagram.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
But
used
what
them
is
before.
So what is the purpose of like? Why do they exist?
I don't think there is a
like they
good
can't.
reason.
I can't imagine that they're easier to make because they're to manufacture because they're like that.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
No.
I'm sure there's some reason like it doesn't roll or something, but at the same time, like,
But
if it comes down on an
It's
edge,
like
it
how
can
many
push in,
exactly like if it
it's-
comes down on an edge, it's gonna have momentum.
Yeah.
But like how many fucking accidents have you been in because barbells are rolling away? Just,
Runaway barbell. Someone
oh shit! Fuck again. And why did they then go with hex plates instead of straight up squares?
Yeah.
Did you see that
Yeah,
on April Fool's?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Alico come out
Yeah,
with their
that was
square
pretty good.
plates.
I read it the first time like, the fuck is that?
For just a moment.
Yeah,
I was
That's what
like-
happened to me too.
I was like, well, the whole reason when I read it, I was like, like I said, for just a moment, I was considering it, but then what pulled me out of it was like, well, it's a Leico, so those are going to be like $100 a pound.
Yeah.
I was like, well, no, there's no way that I would buy, if I'm going to buy a Leico set of competition plates, like, they're definitely not going to be square if I'm going to pay that kind of money. But anyway, that's how dumb I was that I had to think that far before I proved it as nonsense. Do we want to get into? We have some sponsors for the What's in Tanner's Sack bit this week.
oh, I forgot about this.
This was this episode is brought to you by the something fitness related and something not fitness related.
With
With
ampersand?
an ampersand or
Yeah.
whatever the end is, like all of the other things in fitness, such as Caffeine and Kilos, who does not sponsor this, and whatever other real ones there are out there. But there's like
It's
10,000
like becoming
of
the
them.
hottest trend on it's really starting to hit peak.
brownies and bench presses.
Well,
and fucking,
There's too many.
I've never really became aware of it until about a month ago, and it really is.
and once you're aware of it, like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So we have a few sponsors here that we wanted to make sure we give credit to, such as Turkish Get-Ups and Turkey Gizzards. It's a lifestyle. Snatches and Sandwiches. It's a lifestyle. Sponsored by Cookies and Curls. It's a lifestyle. Deadlifts and Dick Jokes. It's a lifestyle. Presses and Protein Farts. And Squat Racks and Nut Sacks. It's a lifestyle.
Was the presses and protein farts, is that a lifestyle?
That is a lifestyle, actually.
That's the thing. Like all these things are lifestyles.
Yeah, it's a
like,
lifestyle
they're lifestyle
brand.
brands.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
not
lifestyle
just
brand.
It's not just about
it's not about
protein
the
powder
gym.
and
It's about letting everyone know that this is your life.
It's a full on lifestyle.
Yeah. I bought that Squat Rack and Nutsack life.
Yeah. It turns into a full on lifestyle.
At some point, it does.
So my sack.
So speaking of Nutsacks,
So have we discussed all of the life hacks for now?
Well, the
saving money.
one thing I was gonna say, as cheap as I am, the one thing I spend all my money on, and like I think this is really sound advice. If you enjoy any podcasts, and they sell any merchandise like shirts or hats or that sort of thing, buy all that shit
For sure.
Like that's what I do. If I like a podcast, I buy so many of their shirts and hats. It's obscene, and that's the best decision I've
Your
ever made.
podcast merch budget is
Like I
pretty-
feel so satisfied knowing that I support like all the work that they do.
That's a commendable thing to say, Tanner.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like also since we have people that I would guess for the last hour have been taking our financial advice, it'd be like.
Don't stop now.
Yeah, don't stop now. I mean, if we've been saving you money this whole time, at least spend all that money.
This is why you save it.
Spend all that money.
And if you don't have it, this is what they make credit cards for. I mean, let's be honest.
If you don't have money,
at the end of the day, no one needs to save money.
There,
just buy.
Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't say that you should take your parents' credit card or your wife's credit card or your husband's credit card. But you could, I mean, if it runs, it's fucking their problem.
You probably have a roommate that like gets offers in the mail for credit cards. You could just open up one for them and just use it. Like then it's not your problem.
Yeah, we don't care who.
We here at Massenomics do not advocate identity theft in any way.
No, that's just like a loan from your friend. That's
that he doesn't know that he gave
loaned you.
So what's in the sack today, Tanner?
Should we close our eyes?
Oh yeah, you guys just close your eyes.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
we kind of forgot.
Your eyes.
We kind of forgot the routine of this.
We'll try and switch the camera angle around.
Should we put our hands out?
Yep.
Oh man, it's getting serious. All right,
are you guys ready?
All right, we're ready.
Okay. There's one of you, and there's
another
one
boy.
of you.
Oh, I know what these are. All right.
Yep.
These are the guys.
Yep.
What are these called, Tanner?
Those are Captains of Crush brand hand grip trainers. COC, Captains of Crush. Kind of the gold standard brand when it comes to hand grippers. These are not your average buy at Walmart.
No, this isn't like a stress fucking grip thing.
Right. They make them in several different strengths. They're rated by poundages, but they have numbers associated with them. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and 4. Easier than 1 would be there's trainers and a couple different
novice.
Yeah, a novice and a trainer. But 4 being the hardest, which is on record of being closed by like 5 people in the world ever.
Now, what's the heaviest one we've got? Is 2.5?
2.5.
Now, here's my history with them. So this, what I've got in my hand right now, is a 1.5. Now with the 1.5, I can squeeze it and I can close it. We got the 2.5. It was the first time I've ever tried one. I have really large hands and probably pretty good grip. But I grabbed the 2.5 and I gave it all I had and I got it to touch. However, not even a fucking single time since the very first time that I've grabbed that thing have I closed that 2.5.
Wow.
And now, the problem is now when I grab it and I get it close, I'll like take my second hand, I'll take 2 hands, and I'll see what it takes to get that last little bit out. And then I'm like beginning to doubt whether I ever did it.
To like the very end is a totally different amount of
quarter inch. This far is the killer.
So now though, in my head, like I know I got the fucking thing to touch, but now when I take 2 hands and I try to close that 2.5, I'm pretty sure that I was dreaming or something. You know what I mean?
So to maybe provide a little perspective on these things, in the scheme of things, I'm really not that good at grip stuff. I have my heaviest deadlift I've ever held in my hands, 545.
Yep.
And not once in that process did it ever cross my mind that my grip was going to give out. So that in that situation, grip was a non-issue. When it comes to these, I can squeeze the trainer. This is the one. Some days my right hand can get the one. My left hand's never close. I am terrible at these things. All they do is piss me off, make me angry, and I usually have to like throw it down and walk away. Like this is almost like a bottle of nose torque for me. It like aggravates me, and it just pisses me off.
Pisses you off.
I can't do them. I'm terrible at it.
Now, while I think there is like a for sure like training purpose to them.
There is a technique to it.
I don't also train with these like you're supposed to.
No,
what I do is it's like it's a daily pissing match.
Yeah.
And so I come in and I grab the 2.5 and I go, fuck, that's impossible. And then I don't touch it again until the next time I grab it.
And that's what most everyone does with these, so that's why no one ever really gets better at them. Because like to do these, if you like, they have books. I have one of their books that I've read, and you program it and train it like sets and reps. I mean, it makes sense. Like you don't just like to bench press. You're not like, well, let's go max out again every single day.
I didn't get any better this week.
Maybe that's why you're not getting any better at benching, Tanner, but that's how the rest of us do it.
We do have a couple guys that do these pretty consistently. CrossFit Corey, he
Now captain of Crunch Corey.
He's good at these, and he's
Corey,
like a
Corey Starrett.
captains of mobility wad Corey. But he like has he has a speed technique.
Yes.
He like grabs it and goes like has it close
Really?
before you even.
It's like he races through it before it gets hard.
Yeah,
He can get to the end.
He's pretty good at it,
That's cheating.
and Larry does them almost like every day when he finishes
Larry's
lifting.
good at them.
And
with
too.
his hair.
He was talking yesterday. He's actually gotten better. Like he's now closing ones that he
Really?
didn't used to be able to.
Oh, fuck. It's also really interesting with these how much the difference is between one hand versus the other.
Oh
Yes.
Like I can still get that to that last bit with the 2.5 with my right hand. On my left hand, it's like I might as well fucking just stand on it.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So Tanner, what's the biggest one you've done?
I can close the 2 pretty much most times. I've never closed the 2.5.
And
Like
so-
I'm not going, and the way the 2.5 is, I'm not going to randomly go in and close it. Like
No,
I would
like
have
you'll
to.
have to get
I would
better.
have to train it to close the 2.5.
And grip things that I've seen you do that would be, I think, tougher outside the norm. I've
Yeah.
seen you've been able to. Have you double overhanded 4 plates for deadlift?
Yeah, I've come really
So
close to 5 plates.
Yeah, this is no hook grip. This is just double overhanding
right.
4. You were very close to 5 plates
Yeah.
that one day. You took it
Yeah.
probably.
I've tried it. I've tried that like a handful of times.
Yeah, you probably had it close
Yeah.
to a foot off the ground. I actually
Yeah.
thought you were just doing a pause, like hook grip deadlift that
Yeah.
day, and then that's when you told me no, that was just double overhand.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty decent grip to be hanging on to something like that. And you said you can only get the 2.
Right. And they go up to 4.
And they go up
There's
to
another
4, which is
2.5,
insane.
3, 3.5, and
That's
4.
the thing is I don't think that I'm like on any sort of world-class level strength. But I have
Really big
world-class
You have
level
hands.
hand
Yes,
size.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that my fucking grip is probably pretty good.
Yeah.
And I have a real hard time believing, because I know the difference between the 2.5 and the 2.
Right.
That there's a thing out there that's a 4, like the difference between the 2.5 and the 1.
That's right.
Because to me,
Go that. Yeah.
I
like,
want to know.
you'd have to park a fucking truck
Yeah,
on
there
it.
has to be a
close.
number for how many pounds of pressure.
They
I
do.
mean,
Is it
on there?
Yeah, that is. I have that. That's tagged to the board, and I can't
man.
remember.
I wonder if I can look it up real
I
quick.
think it might be up to like 400 on the number 4. I don't.
And
know.
that's
I don't-
just
that's-
hand crushing power. That's not like hanging on to something.
Right.
Because this is a little different than just hanging on to
and,
things.
And you know, a lot of the people that are the best in the world at this, I suppose some are big, strong power lifters, but like some of these guys, they are just like grip training guys.
So do you
They
know
just-
some of the best in the world?
Yeah,
Like, is there any
gosh, I
well-known names though that have closed these things?
Is there people that are talk to me about just a grip training guy? What does that mean? Like
see,
that's just
yeah,
that's your sport?
Yeah,
Or like
and,
really?
and there's 2 different. There's a pinch grip, which would be we do this at the gym sometimes where you pinch
Oh, the
plates
plates,
together,
yep.
and this is a crushing grip.
See, and
So those are 2 different.
I'm
two
still
different
not
types
good
of
at the
grip.
pinch, but I think I'm
yeah.
better at the pinch grip than I am
Yeah.
at this.
At the crushing grip. So there's 2 types.
They must use different muscles, don't they?
so the two
Yeah,
the,
they do, and that's what they talk
the
about.
two the 2.5. I'm a little confused with how they're naming these, but anyway, the 2.5 is 237.5 pounds, and that is the bridge to the number 3, and the number 3 is 280 pounds, and that is world class grip strength. 3.5 is 322.5 pounds, and that is the bridge to the number 4. That's all that is. You you went from 3 to 3.5, and they're like, hang on, bitch.
Yeah.
Wait till you get to 4. And then 4 is 365 pounds, and that is be like Magnus Samuelsson. He must be one of the only people
Yeah.
that's closed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I know 2 people that have closed the 3 before, but
Like personally?
yeah,
or-
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
What was Nick Tyluki's? Didn't he say?
I can't remember.
I guess
He
we
might
don't
have
want to
made-
quote
yeah.
him on it, but
Yeah, he had a pair
He has
sitting there
some.
when we.
Yeah, I forgot about that,
Podcast.
and I didn't know what these things were. I didn't know the number scale at the time, so it didn't make any sense to me what you guys were
Yeah.
even talking about. But,
but anyway, you can go back and that's on
Yeah.
YouTube too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
That's
go
our
back
first
and,
video episode.
is it?
Yep.
Yeah, so go
was our-
back
that
and
was
you
the
can
pilot.
you can watch that interview, and I think we asked him. I think he says it.
I can't
Did we
remember.
ask him on the podcast?
I think that was
might have been right
afterwards,
after.
yeah.
I think when we were looking at his
No.
garage.
How about this? We totally asked him,
On
and he
the
totally told us the answer, and it
So
was
it's there.
on video, and it's the best.
Yeah.
So you should
You're
watch
gonna
it.
want to see it.
But well, guys, do we have anything else we want to get out today?
Do we want to talk about some quick viewer questions?
Oh yeah. So
Yes.
we got a couple YouTube questions, or comments, questions, etc.
Which, hey, fire away. We like those things.
Yeah, and I've really noticed it's picked up on the YouTube comments and questions. Like, there's some here that probably aren't worth reading because there's not much for
It's
us.
just
to,
us talking shit back and forth.
Right. But there's a couple here that are, kind of worth mentioning on the podcast here. This first one is on the, we were talking about programming in episode number 55, titled, Do I Need a Coach? First of all, Logan Frank on that one commented topic ideas for us. He said, if anybody got Wendler's new book, that would be a great topic to cover. And his new book is 531 Forever. Is his newest one.
Does Sergeant Anderson have that one?
I don't know if he has that one yet or not. But
Well, he's gonna have to get it so we
Yeah.
can borrow it, and so I
Yeah.
can spill water all over this one too, and then buy
Well,
him a new one again.
I have right now. I have 531 for powerlifting. Like that's kind of his second or third or something. So I'm in the process of reading that. But yeah, I agree that would be a good topic. I enjoy Wendler's books. But the other comment here on this episode, someone said, "Love listening to you guys. Wish Fletch and his handsome mug would get more camera time." So
Did he get some camera time on that
did you
episode?
spin it?
We might have.
I think there was one.
Yeah.
That one. He was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he got
So
camera.
he was
yeah,
on-
that
okay.
that's why that's where that comes
usually
from.
we
Yeah.
just yell at him.
And then we were talking about programming. The Lone Wolf, Chuck Englert, commented, you could try a cycle of 20 rep squat program. That would make tracking progress easier. It also builds a lot of strength, muscle, and endurance.
That would build some endurance. There's no doubt about that.
Get you right on board with the pain train.
Yeah, yeah. That 20 rep squats and a gallon of milk. I can't recall the guy or the book, but that's kind of a thing. Chuck would know the answer to that. Another comment on our prior episode, episode 54, which the episode title there, I guess it was the South Dakota Strongest Man that we were talking about, but there's a good comment on that. Another great episode, keep them coming. Also have a potential topic for discussion. I have talked to a lot of people who go to various gyms, and the same thing always comes up about people at the gym leaving a mess, trash left throughout the facility, not putting their weights up, etc. What is your recommendation for getting others in the gym to clean up after themselves? And this was from Jeremy Nicholas.
I think with this, the answer, it's probably maybe not. It's maybe not the easiest answer. Well, it's actually a pretty simple answer. It's probably just go to a place where people take more pride in their gym.
Yeah.
I think that's really the only way around that.
And it's hard because a lot of that is things that you don't have control over.
It is,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like but we're also, I would say, in as isolated of a place as you could possibly expect a gym like this to be happening at.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you started this with how much money to start the gym? Like a few $1,000s, couple thousand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like,
It just requires a few people. that are
yeah, and
on
then
board.
you just start getting, like, as much as it sucks, like, but if you're going to a gym that's like a big Globo gym or something like that, and you just have dickheads that don't know anything about what they're doing, and they're just got all the 25-pound plates on the 45 rack, and there's shit everywhere, like, you're just in the wrong place, because that place is meant to attract people and with no filter.
Yeah.
And so you almost need to be in a place where there's a bit of a filter in who comes in the door, and that can either be done with price or with the vibe, but you may not have control over that.
And I remember that being a real issue. Like something before a workout would even start, you would just be mentally frustrated and spending more mental energy on that than you should because there's no clips anywhere. It's like, okay, that's really annoying to try and do things. There's no clips. They're just gone.
Yeah.
Or the fact that this whole weight tree has, like you said, only 25s on it. Like, how did this many 25s, like,
Get in one
no one
place,
usually puts more than 125 on each side.
Right.
And the fact that there's all of these
7.
here is crazy. Like, what's going on? So things like that, people just being messy in general. Like,
I don't know
really
what
think-
I don't know if there is any good advice.
Yeah, see, I don't think. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So if that's the situation that you're in, like, how do you get those people to be more accountable? You could have some real difficult conversations with fucking
Everyone.
75 people that are, you know what I mean? Because there's so many of those people there that.
Yeah.
The truth is, like, you just have to eat some shit until
Yeah.
you find a better place. or you make a better place.
Because a lot of those people don't even realize it's a thing. Like, a lot of people don't think, like, having to run around the gym looking for clips is an issue, or the fact that there's 15 tens on this one spot. Like, that's not a concern to a lot of people.
Knowing the attitude that a lot of the people in those places have or can have, you almost can't say anything to anyone because they're like, there's a 50% chance that they're going to be mad at you for bringing, even if you were like, not trying to be a dick about it or anything. Like, I'm just wondering if you could put the plates back in the spot that they go. Like, there's a good chance that person's going to hate you and be like, well, screw you, buddy. What do you care? You know?
Yeah. I think it kind of like a lot of things in life, your options are either to, you know, find a place that fits for you or you got to make a place that fits for you. And sometimes it, you know, people can't do either, you know, and you just got to deal with it. But yeah, that blows, man.
It's a fairly simple solution verbally, but to like make something happen about it.
Socially it gets complex. No new iTunes reviews this week.
No.
You motherfuckers. So that's what we're going to start with. Leave us an iTunes review. Can't emphasize that enough. Obviously, 5 stars. It's not that hard. We know you're listening. We know you haven't done it.
Please do it.
Please do it. Go to the website. If you also want to support us, we could definitely use you buying some stuff. We still have the Weekend Warrior, the Big Lift shirt, all sorts of. We're going to be pretty close to having. We can kind of announce the other stuff. We're gonna have the
right now.
OG shirt or OG logo on a bro tank for the men. We're also going to have a women's cut shirt,
V-neck women's
cut that we exhaustively got samples because there's some dog shit women's shirts out there.
Yeah.
And
I think we came up with a pretty good one though.
We came through the
really, R&D on it was exhaustive.
The R&D was terrible.
But because we're so devoted to our lady listeners.
That's going to be in the store too, and so you can get shirts for the ladies and the fellas, hats for the ladies and the fellas. Make sure you go to Facebook, follow Massenomics on Facebook, like it, share it, tell all your friends about it. We got everything else. YouTube.com/Massenomics. And I think that's it.
That's most of our things.
That's most of our things. Oh, also, though, on Massenomics.com, if you're only listening to the podcast, we do have a whole wealth of tremendous information and wonderful articles that are both funny
and informative.
And some of them are both, and most of them may be neither. But other than that, you can find us all on Instagram. I'm Tyler. You can find me at Tyler Effin Stone. That's Tyler EFFIN Stone. Tommy?
I'm Tommy. You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And Tanner?
Tanner, the official Massenomics Instagram page at Massenomics.
All right. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Stay strong.
Bye.
You just heard the Massenomics Podcast. With your ears. You're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.